So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra, Kaye, and I'm sitting here with Gary Monroe, the five-star general, and Donovan Sadiq. And we are talking to you, well, some of us, well, one of us rather, from Ground Zero in Minneapolis, where George Floyd was murdered by the police officers a couple of days ago. And so we are going to get all the details of everything that has been going on in the last 24 hours. And so I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to please share, so everybody can get this information, because we are bringing you this information firsthand from our boots on the ground, Mr. Gary Monroe, and he's going to tell us everything that he's seen and heard thus far, the people that he's talked to, much needed information that we need. So please, as I said again, please share this. You do not want to miss this at all. Again, just a giant welcome to you all, and we'll try to take some of you guys' comments along the way. As always, thank you for tuning in. We could not do this without you, and so we are much appreciated. So again, I'll just give you a little bit of a background of what we're going to be doing here. Again, George Floyd was murdered on Monday by 4 police officers, one specifically who held his knee on his, not held, but pressed his knee on the back of his neck while he cried and begged, said, I can't breathe. And one of the last things he uttered was for his mother. He cried for his mother before he took his last breath. And so here we are now. The officers have been fired, as 4 of them, but now we're waiting for them to be arrested. And so that's where everything hinges on now, to see if the DA is going to arrest them. And so as soon as Gary comes back here, we're going to get all the information that he has. So in the meantime, please, you guys share this information so many others can be well abreast of what is going on. And so until Gary comes back here, Donovan, what's happening?
Hey, I've been monitoring all the websites, and I want to thank you guys that have continue to fund the five-star general and his survey of the situation. Please continue to do so. I just want to let everybody know there's a lot of stuff going out there where people are using the narrative of a good cop. There are no good cops if they see the corruption and the crime that's going on, the evidence being planted. We had 3 cops that were so-called good cops that watched a citizen just get murdered. So don't tell me anything about a good cop until these good cops come out and start speaking out. I'm not saying, who they are or what they are, but we can't tell the difference.
Right. All right. So Mr. Monroe, fill us in. Tell us what you've been doing over the last 24 hours. And I know that you've probably gotten very little sleep because you were out there very late, and you were out there also very early this morning. So if you could please tell the good people what's been going on Ground Zero from Minneapolis. Oh, he's trying to come back on. Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so let me remove this one. Can you hear us?
You got to bring me from backstage.
There you go. There it is.
Hey, hey, what's going on?
Okay, so
man, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Last 24 hours. One of y'all mute your microphone. I got an echo.
Hold on 1 second. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Last 24 hours has been eventful. I spent all day today at the store. I was at the store for the protest where George was killed, and they embraced me wholeheartedly. And the thing is the last 24 hours, I think the city, as well as the state of Minnesota, is dumb as all outdoors. You can't slowpoke this. So in the last 24 hours, you've had a Target looted and burnt up. They burnt it up. The Chick-fil-A burnt up. The AutoZone burnt up. They robbed the bank. So, I mean, they got to get their money from somewhere. We're in the middle of a pandemic. They got to eat too. So, but the thing is it's gonna get worse if they just don't go on and charge them and arrest them. These people already said that they're not going nowhere. I mean, they out there. You know, I had to come sit in the car for you to be able to hear me at the spot that I was at. When I showed up this morning, maybe 100, 150 people. And now you might have 4,000 people at this spot right now that are protesting peacefully. They're protesting peacefully. They're not violating the law, but they are hurt. They're hurt and they're upset. And you know, it's what it is. Of course, you had the professional Negroes show up today, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, and you know, they ain't trying to hear that either. They were nice, they were cordial, they wasn't disrespectful, but they don't want to hear it. It's like they figured out the plan. Okay, something jump off, here come Jesse and Al. You know, they don't want to hear that, man. It's not gonna work the way that they think it's gonna work this time. So they're gonna have to figure out what they want to do, which I think the best thing to do is go on and charge these people. If you go on and charge them, you can get back to some type of normalcy. But I think the way it is now, I think this will end up being a LA. If they charge them, arrest them, and then let them go, they ain't having it.
So from what we've heard so far, and tell me because you are actually at ground zero, so everybody, he is actually there in Minneapolis, and he has gone to all of the spots where most of the protests are going on. So from what I understand, the DA, Mike Freeman, is saying that he doesn't have enough evidence to arrest them. He disappeared again. He'll come back. So we're going to find out, because from what I was hearing is that the DA is saying he doesn't have enough evidence to make an arrest. Now, from what we have all seen, clearly there's enough evidence. It's just flat out murder. But so he's saying he doesn't have enough evidence from what he's seen. And so we're going to ask Gary if that's what he knows to be true.
All right, can you hold on a second? I'm trying to hear y'all. For some strange reason, my volume went down.
Can you hear us?
I can't barely hear you guys. Oh man. Hold on a second. Let me try something. But keep talking. Let me fix this.
Okay. So yeah, he's gonna try to figure out his audio situation. A lot of times when we're you come in on a phone, it's kind of janky, if you will. And so we will get this straightened out. But again, as I was saying, Gary, can you hear me now? I don't think he can hear me at all. So as
not yet.
As I was saying, the DA is saying that he doesn't have enough evidence, because it's the DA that would bring the charges and sign the papers, basically, to have them arrested. Go ahead, Donovan.
You know, I'm all for, you know, hiring the handicap and everything like that. So did they hire a blind DA or you know, what's going on? I mean, what more evidence do you need? Because if you really watch that video all the way through until the paramedics arrived, that man was already dead when they put him on the gurney. What more evidence do you need?
Yeah, because they were trying to say they called the ambulance because he was in medical distress, but they forgot to tell them that, oh, we put him in medical distress. So to your point, he probably was, you know, pretty much already gone by the time he went to the hospital. As like you said, we can all see nobody else caused this death but that police officer.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Rodney King was beat the crap out of in a Hyundai going 100 miles an hour. So we knew that was a lie, but we can see him getting beat and he was charged. So this DA, unless he's absolutely blind, is saying they got to see this man's head completely squashed or cut off before he's going to bring charges.
Well, you know, and it just makes you wonder what's your angle, man? Like, and we'll get a little bit more into it. Donovan, you want to tell people what you've learned as far as Amy Klobuchar and this particular police officer? Here he comes.
Yes. Okay, here we go. But can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Right, here we go. Like you were saying.
All right, so I'm going to ask you once again, and sorry, you guys, thank you for hanging in there. As we know now, the DA, Mike Freeman, is saying he doesn't have enough evidence to bring charges against these 4 officers who were fired by the mayor. What do you know about that?
Well, I saw the press conference, and that's not gonna sit good with the natives. And Freeman can play the game, but when it's all said and done, it's gonna be worse than anything that we've ever seen. Because the longer he waits, the more agitated the natives are gonna become, and they're not gonna leave anything standing. I'm telling you, this is what they telling me. They not gonna leave anything standing.
So Donovan, go ahead and tell us what you were telling me earlier about Amy Klobuchar and the police officer.
Right. The police officer that involved in this murder, the one that murdered him directly, he had previous 8 use of force incidences against him that nobody took any action on. And the Democrats are vetting Amy Klobuchar, who was the DA. That was, and I'll give you guys a direct quote. Amy Klobuchar didn't prosecute officer at center of George Floyd's death after previous conduct complaints. This guy had 8 previous complaints, and she chose not to prosecute. And yet, everybody's behind old Uncle Joe, and this is who he's going to pick for his VP. So that's very telling right there. So,
Right. And he's actually, let's see, the 5-star general is trying to come back on. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right. We're having issues with the phone.
We all right. We all right. I'm gonna ride it out. Let's go.
All right. So as he was saying, Amy Klobuchar, it is actually he had 12 misconducts, 3 shootings, 1 fatal, and I think it was like 10 or so other complaints of police brutality against that specific officer, the officer that actually did the murdering. And so Amy Klobuchar was she refused to bring charges against him, basically hold him accountable. And so here she is being vetted for the vice president of the United States under Jim Crow Joe. And so that's very problematic. Have you heard anything about that at all?
They're aware of all of that. They talk on it. They've been talking about it all day long. And they're just at a point where they, in all actuality, they want everybody fired. They want the cops, the police chief. They say because the culture has existed for too long, they want him fired. The DA, they want to recall the DA. I can tell you this here that this is Freeman's last go round. He won't win another election. I don't see that happen. I don't see that happening. So they're making the right moves. I just think in this game of cat and mouse that it's not going to come out well for the city of Minneapolis.
And they've said that he's actually been in office for 30 years. Is that right?
30 years. Yep. 30 years.
And I don't know if people out there know, because we are in a hotly contested presidential race, or which they say they all are. But Mike Freeman is actually a Democrat. And Amy Klobuchar obviously is a Democrat. He disappeared again. Is a Democrat. And so, especially for us as Black people, we are always talking about we got to vote blue no matter who. But here, this Democrat DA, he refuses to bring charges against these murderers, which Ray Charles could see that it was cold-blooded murder. He refuses to bring charges, but yet he's a Democrat. But most Black people will go out there and vote blue no matter who. Vote all down ballot. Just vote for everybody Democrat. So I ask you guys out there listening, would you vote for Mike Freeman, who has all these people out there protesting, asking him to do the right thing, bringing these officers to justice, arrest them for murder, and he won't do it? But a lot of us will go out there and vote for him when he's up for re-election. Does that sound, like the right thing to do to you guys? And so,
I mean that's part of our problem right now. That we keep voting in these sorry ass Democrats who don't do anything in any regards to almost anything that comes up. Not all Democrats are sorry. Let me put it like that. But the ones that we dealing with right now, all over the country, trash, and ain't nothing worse than trash except for the juice in the bottom of the garbage bag. That stink
Mm-hmm.
worse than the trash. And Mike Freeman is the juice in the bottom of the garbage bag.
Donovan?
Yeah. Hey, I just want to remind everybody, how many of you guys remember Obama signed a blue alert law to protect police officers? This to bring down Obama's legacy and all that other stuff. What I'm saying is basically this also helped to embolden Biden's law and getting us in a situation we're in right now. Obama signed bills to help protect police from threats. However, police are not under attack in America. President Barack Obama signed legislation that creates a blue alert system for law enforcement in the United States. Now, does that sound like a president that has your situation in mind? Knowing that Black people since the 90s, even before that, have been brutalized, he's going to sign a bill that's going to protect police more so than the citizens that give the police the power to patrol them and protect them.
I would say this here, man, because I believe this wholeheartedly, that a cop's life is no more important than one of ours. That's how I feel. They human just like us. And the thing is you got all this protection for them. They violate the law on a daily basis. And then when something happens, if I barely put my fingertip on a cop, they'll give me an assault charge. They'll have me downtown, have me processed, locked up, the whole nine. Like Al Sharpton said today, he made a good point that all you need to do in this situation is have probable cause. And they have probable cause. So the thing is, and I don't care who gets upset about it, welcome to America and welcome to being Black.
So you spoke about Al Sharpton being there earlier. Well, what's the overall feel for someone like Al Sharpton being there? Because I heard him evoke the name of Benjamin Crump. So evidently they're kind of working together, because he was saying that they're all going to be at both funeral services, the one in Minneapolis and then one out there in Houston. Because we know Al Sharpton has been accused, him and the National Action Network have been accused of being ambulance chasers to some degree. So what is the overall feeling for him being there? Because you guys knew he was going to show up. Right?
As I said, they were respectful when he came. And, to know that Al has the money that he has, Al, please get you some more shoes, man, because your shoes was hulled out, big homie. Your shoes was, hulled. You could have stopped at the mall and got you a pair of J's and looked better than what you was looking, man. But anyway, they were respectful of Al. But they not trying to hear that. They don't want to hear that, man. They don't want to hear nothing from the pastors, none of that. And I'm telling you, the day was so amazing because I had to sit back and I had to watch it. And I watched these professional Negroes show up. And when I say that, I'm talking about you had people coming out there. Them people are so wrong for what they doing on the other side of town. And I'm listening to all this here. And then it was my turn to speak. Now, they not wrong. What you need to do is embrace them. You need to support them on the other side of town for one reason. In every battle like this, you have to have a Malcolm, you have to have a Martin. Y'all over here being Martin. Them over there burning down the target, they Malcolm. They want it done by any means necessary. So if people don't understand the frustration, the reason you don't understand the frustration is because you've never lived in a climate like this. You have never lived in a climate like this. I mean, I met a lady last night. I think y'all heard her story about her husband. You pull him over for a broken tail light and pump 17 bullets in him. Since when a broken tail light gets you a death sentence? Since when a fake $20, now it went from being a hot check to a fake $20 bill. But either way, when do you get a death sentence for a counterfeit bill? So whether they want to accept it or not, my brothers on the other side of town that's wilding, I'm not gonna tell you to stop. You hurting. And the thing is, the United States of America, Minneapolis is just a small piece of that. But when you allow your cops to do this, these are the results that you're going to get. If you didn't want them people in the streets doing what they were doing, all you had to do was arrest those cops. But you want to sit back, you think you can bring the National Guard in here, you going to intimidate them? They ain't trying to hear it. They not trying to hear it. So old Gary Monroe, this ain't my neck of the woods. So, man, I'm not going to tell these people what they can and cannot do. Is y'all crazy? I'm just happy to be here. I'm eating the hot dogs. Ate me some ribs today. They cooked on the pit. Can you hear me?
Let me ask in general, because you just brought up a quick topic that I was wondering.
Uh-huh.
I noticed last night you were moving in the different neighborhoods, and you didn't seem afraid or scared, or you didn't have the right colors on. Now, you being from Houston, we got people in Los Angeles, we got people in Chicago, and for some reason, all of these neighborhoods have the same thing in common: lack of wealth in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Is it pretty much the same up there? Like when you were up there, did you feel you were in Houston? I mean, you know what I mean? Were you, not saying comfortable, but you weren't afraid or anything like that? It's just, I mean, why are all these black neighborhoods looking the same?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this here. First of all, yeah, I felt like I was at home. I drank me an old school Miller today, smoked me a cool long with my new family. And the reason that they can gravitate to me and I can gravitate to them, because real recognize real. That's what it boils down to. It's the hood. I'm from the hood. My mentality is beyond that, but I've never forgotten where I came from. So, it's easy for me to connect with these people and sit down and eat a hot dog and talk to a mom that's just going through it right now. Her daughter, one of the ladies I was talking to today, her daughter was the person that filmed the actual murder. So, I mean, we sat there for hours and we talked, and it is what it is, but it's the same old, same old. The poor, black, economically disadvantaged neighborhood where they come in with the bully suit on and they bully them. If you don't want to be bullied, they kill you. So, like I told them today, if this was an affluent neighborhood, this would have never happened. It would have never happened, no matter what color you were. It would have never happened. They will not allow it to happen. There are different rules to educating our kids in cities like this. They educate them differently. On one side of town, you get a quality education. On the other side of town, you get a garbage education. And it's the same thing in the police world. On their side of town, the affluent side of town, their officers' race matches the demographics of the neighborhood. On the poor black side of town, the officer's race is totally opposite from the demographics of the neighborhood. So if this is a predominantly black neighborhood, then how did you have 3 white officers and an Asian officer think that they could get away with murder in broad daylight? And you know what I want everybody to remember? Can y'all hear me? Okay. What I want everybody to remember, I always say criminals never get caught, they get comfortable. When that man put his knee on that boy's neck, that wasn't his first time doing it. He was too comfortable doing it. He was far too comfortable doing it. That wasn't his first time. When you look at his record, you can see he has a problem with African Americans. So we basically, through the process of this whole situation, we've identified a Klan member in a blue uniform. Point blank, that's what it was. But this culture has existed for so long. That's why these officers are, they feel they can do what they need to do, like they doing it out here.
So let me ask you this. And we've obviously seen a lot of looting and things like that. Tell me if you've seen any looting, and what's your opinion in regards to the looting? Because there's a lot of people who are condemning the looters and all of that. So what is your opinion? And Donovan, I want to know what your opinion is on the looting.
Well, first of all, I've not seen any looting. Where I've been has been peaceful all day. It's been peaceful. They upset, they cussing, yeah, but they've been peaceful. They're not violating the law. As far as the looters, I mean, when you go in tonight and you look at your little 45-inch TV, they got 70 inches now. They got new pots. I seen a lady walk out the Target with some lamps. Do you think I give a damn? No. For one reason. They seem to care more about what's in the stores and what they're taking than they care about the actual problem that created the looting. If you give a damn about George, like you standing in front of them cameras, Mr. Elected Official, you standing in front of them cameras, Mr. DA, federal agents, you gave a damn about him, you do the right thing, and you'd have did it yesterday. You'd have did it 4 days ago. But they don't give a damn. Let's just be honest with it. They don't care. But if that was Becky, if it was Becky, it'd be hell to pay the captain right now.
Yeah, you know, my opinion on that, I mean, it all boils down to economics. When you don't have an economic base, what do you expect people who have nothing to do? Like right now, I'll give you a good example. You know, Demetra and I are here in California. Okay, we have a lot of people from Mexico that are not here legally. They don't have an economic base. They couldn't get any of that money, $1,200. So what does the Democratic Party do? Because these people have no money to feed themselves or to get things that they need to survive, even if it isn't to survive, they have no way to work. They gave them money. So as a people, Black people, what do you think that disadvantaged people are going to do? I'm not saying, you know, stealing is right. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is when you have no wealth in your community, what do you expect them to do?
Well, I would just say this. If you're more mad at the looters for taking stuff than you are that the police officers for murdering somebody and being the cause of this, you are part of the problem and you are not keeping your eyes on the ball. Looting is just charge it to the game.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. If they'd have charged them from day one, would it be any looting?
I don't think so. I don't think you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm on the fence whether it would have or wouldn't have been. I think that people in America in general, because it's not just Black people out there. And I'm preaching to the choir. You've seen all kind of people out there. You've seen middle-aged white women, old. You've seen a lot of people out there. So I think we're at the point in time in America where people are just sick and tired, and a lot of people can no longer deny what's going on. So I think whether they would have brought charges or not, I think people would have still, you know, shook some things up, and I think rightfully so.
You know why I don't really care nothing about the looting? I'm gonna be honest with you, Demetra and Donovan. I hear people, Black, white, all the time, say, y'all don't own nothing in your neighborhood. You don't own nothing. They own the stores. They own this. So whose shit are they really burning up? They ain't burning up theirs. I never gave a damn about looting because we ain't burning up our shit. You see, but here's the thing. If you loot or burn up the store, let's say where it happened at, because you feel like the store owner is the one that initiated it. The only time I would look at you sideways is when you allow that store to reopen. Once you shut it down, keep it shut down. Once you shut it down, shut it down. So as far as me, if people really want to know, I don't have a problem with them looting. I'm not going to promote it, but I don't give a damn because they really not burning up their shit to begin with.
Well, take the prime example of Spike Lee's movie "Do the Right Thing," where actually when Radio Raheem was murdered by the police, and they said, "F it, let's tear this whole thing up." And then different people who are in the neighborhood other than black people was like, "It's not me, I'm black too." And Spike was like, "F it, I'm gonna throw the trash can through the window because you guys are part of the problem. You guys," and I say you guys, I'm talking about the Arabs, the Asians, the white people, and everybody else. You guys suck the life and the money out of this neighborhood. You guys pour nothing back into here. And so you gotta go too. You gotta go too. Don't cry now when your business is getting tore up because you knew all this was going on and you've contributed to the problem. We know a lot of times black people have problems in a lot of those stores, and now all of a sudden you see a brick or a Molotov cocktail coming through your window. All of a sudden you want to sympathize with black people. So I'm one of those people. I'm with you, Barry. It ain't our stuff. Now, do I think it's jacked up that people are getting their stuff tore up? Yeah, but you know what?
So I tell you this here. I was looking at some comments. That's why I keep going back and forth. So I can see a comment. I see a lady named Heather said, "Well, what about the single mom that worked there? What about the father that got murdered?" I don't give a damn about nobody that worked in that store. I give a damn about the brother that's laying on the ground. See, my thing is this here. We don't understand that, like I keep telling folk, black people have been traumatized for 400 years. We've gone through trauma for 400 years. You white folks need to get fixed too. Because anybody that makes a statement and they're worrying about some damn looting, you must feel like you're privileged. Who gives a damn if they burn down Target? Target has more insurance money than me and you could ever imagine. They'll just rebuild that motherfucker bigger and stronger. What you have to understand, it never had to happen. Even though they did what they did, it still did not have to happen if they would have just charged them like they should have been charged. And in America, I'm not understanding this. You don't have a problem locking up people on bullshit. I mean, you get pulled over for no seatbelt, you go to jail. But you kill a black man in broad daylight? And you think black people gonna keep understanding that shit? So here's my thing to y'all. Long as you sitting there wanting them to understand, they gonna keep burning this place down. As long as you sit there and you play this game and you don't want to charge them, they gonna keep burning this place down. Now, here's the thing that I try to educate my white brothers and sisters. When there's nothing left to burn down, don't be surprised if it's your house next. You might want to call your peoples and tell them, man, go on sign the paperwork, man. Get them boys in jail, man. Get them boys in jail, man. And then you have to understand we're in the middle of a pandemic. Man, that 1,200 gone. Some of the people in that Target, they was in there to get something to eat, man.
True.
Some of these homeless people didn't have no clothes. That was their opportunity. So if you don't understand that all of this happened because one, the police, I mean, the DA did not do the job that he was charged to do. He did not do the job that he was charged to do. You feel what I'm saying? And this is a byproduct of him not doing his job. So the person that you should be the most mad at is not the looters, but the person that set the table for him to loot.
Right. Also, I guess the University of Minnesota.
So all black bitch.
I guess the University of Minnesota has divested from the police department.
Say that again.
Are you all right out there?
I'm good.
Okay, so I guess the University of Minnesota has divested from the police department out there. They said no more, and it sounds like the University of Minnesota funds them to the tune of millions and millions of dollars a year, and they said no more. Now, I follow Sean King, and he says, and this is his opinion, I want you guys to comment on this. He says if a big, giant organization like Target was to, make and pull all of their money out as well, he said he thinks a lot of this would change overnight if a lot of these big, giant organizations would do the same. What are your thoughts?
Sean King is an armchair quarterback. When you gonna come off the sideline, homeboy? They need you down here.
Or I would say
Sean,
this. I would say this in defense of Sean King, because I see,
I mean,
I hear and see Sean King taking a lot of heat, but I would say this: Sean King does do the work. So is he on the ground level? No, but he was bringing a lot of attention to the things that are going on with the murder of Black people, and he was very instrumental in making sure that the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery were brought to justice. So he does do a lot of work, and maybe, you know, everybody is not meant to be in the field. Everybody has different talents. Is he a perfect person? No, but I just, like, for me, I hate to hear people try to tear him down, because Sean King does do a lot of work.
he takes credit for a lot of other people's work, and I'm one of them guys he took some credit for. And I did the work, and then he ran off with it, which is cool with me. But I mean, my thing is at the end of the day, it's boots on the ground right now. I mean, it's cool if you can bring awareness to this. I don't think there's any more awareness we can bring to it. The tape say everything we needed to say. So, you know, I just think that a lot of these people we don't see until the case is a very, very high profile case. You know, I mean, people get beat up by the cops every day. We don't see Al Sharpton every day. We don't see Sean King, Lee Merritt, and Benjamin Crump every day. So when it's a high profile case, yeah, they gonna show up. And if people feel they show out, that's them. But you know, me and you, we cool. So I will say this here. You can like him, I don't.
So the question at hand, though, to his point, how do you feel about him at the University of Minnesota divesting from the police officer, the police department, in lieu of what is taking place, and in lieu of him not being arrested?
I think that was a great move. I really do, because you have to understand the University of Minnesota, you know, they can't be affiliated with people that are involved in these types of situations. So they have to remove themselves from it. And it's easier for them to move on from it if they do it and don't let us put the pressure on them to do it. See, if we put the pressure on them to do it, we're going to drag them 4, 5, 6 days. But as you notice, since they said it, it's been real quiet. So to me, it's like damage control. They made sure that they did the necessary damage control before it came to their front door, which at the end of the day, I still applaud the University of Minnesota for what they did.
Hey, 5-star, you often say that you got to know what you want when it's all said and done. So the people there in Minnesota, specifically in that township, have they decided what they want, other than the cops being charged and the prosecution going? I mean, after all this is over, what is it that they want? Do they want better representation? Do they want more economic wealth? Have they decided what they want?
To a certain degree, but I think they need to dig a little bit deeper. And they need to, sometimes you don't have the skill set to know what you want, because you've never been put in that position to have to know what you want. So I think that they want new elected officials. Like I say, I don't think Freeman will, without a shadow of a doubt, if he was to run 30 years from now, if his election day is 30 years from now, no elections between now and then, he'd lose by a landslide. So they definitely want new representation. They want, and I love it when they say it, if it's a Black neighborhood, they want Black cops. Basically, they're saying if it's a white neighborhood, send the white cops over there. They can't relate to us. They cannot relate to us. And that's something in every city, that they try to push this diversity thing on us all the time. We told them in Houston, why you got all these white boys in the neighborhood at night? They already scary. And that's another thing. I just want to touch on that, and I want y'all opinion. Why do you decide to be a police officer and you already a ready-made coward?
I would say this: a lot of those people that get on the force, they already have ill intentions. I don't really think there's some of them that are cowards, but some of them No, it's a path to go and murder people, especially black people. We see that a lot. Oh, I was afraid for my life. But you ran in there blazing saddles, though. You know, you didn't look like you were afraid. You're just using that as an excuse to murder black people. And again, we always talk about, oh, you know, the Klan is infiltrating the police officers. No, police officers are actually infiltrating the Klan because that's what the police officers, the police department is. It's the Klan. So they're not afraid. It's just an excuse.
Right. Well, you know, I honestly think that, you know, a lot of people, it's just the job. They, you know, they can care less because I've been arguing all day with people about good cops and bad cops. To me, there are no good cops until they're all bad until the good cops start telling on the bad cops. Because right now, I can't tell the difference.
I take that, and I'm gonna help you with that. Yes, you can, because the good cops seem to get fired mysteriously. They kick them out the department. They did it to Kathy Swilley up in Houston. They kicked her out of the department because she was trying to expose corruption. So, you know, the thing is when it's just when you think of a serial killer, what color do you think they are?
White.
Okay. So when I think of that, I think that when you look at certain things, why is it always the goofy looking white cop that murders the black person? Because he was Opie Taylor all his life. He was getting bullied all his life. So now you the police and now you can bully people and do what you do. Just look at some of the interactions when we look at the videos that come on Facebook. It's always the weak looking cop that's caught up in the foolishness because you was a sucker back in the day. You used to get beat up every day. So now this your chance to beat somebody up. This your chance to just pop your trigger and your department stands behind you. They know the character of these people. Look, if me and you go to get a job at 7-Eleven, they gonna look at us and tell us right then. They ain't even gotta look at the app. Do I want this dude here working in my store? They already know when they interview these suckers, man. They already know.
And check this out. I'm gonna shoot this question to you guys. Okay, it's from one of the comments. So Sean, and how you doing, Sean? He says there aren't enough black people eligible to become law enforcement in order to have all black cops in black neighborhoods. Address that, somebody, please.
I don't even know how to answer that because that to me is the most, and I'm trying to be respectful as I can. That is the most outrageous statement.
Racist.
That could be made. You know, because.
Well, here's the thing. Could you do me a favor, Demetra? Could you repeat the statement?
Sure. There aren't enough black people eligible to become law enforcement in order to have all black cops in black neighborhoods.
One more time. I was trying to see what was going on.
Yes, sure. There aren't enough black people eligible to become law enforcement in order to have all black cops in black neighborhoods.
And it's a reason for that. Look at your educational component. You're not educating black children. You've not been educating black children for at least the last 30, 40 years. So therefore, if they can't get an education, how can they ever think about elevating to that level? It's a lot of kids would love to grow up and be a police officer. It's a lot of kids that would love to grow up and be a police officer. But by the time you get them into school and you label them special ed, what you want them to do?
I'm going to answer it like this, and this is what we know. The basic limitation to be a police officer in California, I can't speak in any other jurisdictions, you got to either have a GED or a high school education, but you know, a GED is the minimum, and they're going to train you to do the rest. So to say that there are no eligible black people, I think is total bullshit, because I see black kids graduating high school and junior college every day. And so the component to become a police officer, it ain't like it's a high educational standard.
I think everybody's missing the real issue. And the real issue is, yes, it's very racist. Not necessarily the comment that he made is racist, but it's racist because a lot of people, Black people, can't qualify due to having, misdemeanors and felonies, and that's all by design. And so, of course, you can't get on to the force with those things. But Black people are more likely to be charged with something than white people. That doesn't mean that they're not. It doesn't mean that they're not good enough to be on there. It's just that a lot of white people get away with a lot of stuff, which is why we're seeing a lot of stuff go on in these police forces, because you have white people who are loose cannons that don't like Black people, that have gotten away with a whole bunch of bull, and they didn't get that stuff on their record. So it's the records that stop Black people from becoming police officers due to systemic and institutional racism. Period.
Right. And another thing that they use. Why is it that a police officer could make a six-figure salary and a firefighter could make a six-figure salary in 3 on, 4 off, and it's based on nepotism?
Man, let me tell you something, man.
It's only based on nepotism.
Well, let me ask the $1 million question right now. Who the hell would want to be a police officer right now?
Exactly.
Man, I don't want no parts of that.
But unfortunately, we do need black police officers. But I take it a step further. Why don't we police our own communities like people used to do? One of my favorite movies is with Lawrence Fishburne called "Always Outnumbered, Always Outgunned." I think the name of the title is. And they did a good job of policing their own community. They had an issue with a guy who was doing some things that he wasn't supposed to be doing, and they took hold of the situation and made the neighborhood safe for everybody. That's what people used to do, and the men used to do in the neighborhoods. I think if we were to get back to that, we wouldn't have to worry about it as much. Now, of course, these racist cops are going to come in there anyway. But I would think if we got more of a control on what went on in our neighborhoods, it wouldn't be as bad. Because I know it's a lot we could do about them being racist, but I think if we policed our own neighborhood, that would help a little bit more.
Do you want to know the real reason why they won't let us do that? They want to have somebody in the community to drop dime on us and to keep tabs on us, because just like the Black Wall Street and all these great Black cities that we have, if they don't have an informer in the police department to get a tab on, man, those Negroes got millions of dollars. Those Negroes are doing this. They're creating this corporation, stuff like that. They just want to have an in so that they can, know what's going on within our communities.
But hold on a second. But I'm speaking more or less to you guys. Neely Fuller Jr. has the 10 basic stops, the things that Black people need to stop doing in order for us to become productive people. So stop killing, stop stealing, stop gossiping, stop, those type of things. And so if we were get to know what those stops are and start to enforce those in our own neighborhood, then we would be a lot better off. Just if we just start with those things, right, Gary?
Well, to a certain degree, I agree, and to a certain degree, I disagree. I think that we need to stop some things, but when you think about it too, I mean, stealing, we should stop stealing. Okay, but they stole us from Africa. We should stop killing. Well, you've been killing us for 400 years. See, people don't understand. All this is going on because we've been traumatized.
Right. But
we've never been put in a situation where the playing field was leveled for us. We've always had to dig ourselves out of holes.
Right. But as Neely Fuller Jr. explains it, so we know about systemic and institutional racism. That is not our fault. It is, and I agree with you 100%, why we are in the situation that we're in. But there are things that we know better to do and not to do. And if and the thing that he's saying we should do is not even that hard. It's just basic stuff, right? Because more than likely, we do that stuff to ourselves. It's because we live amongst ourselves. So obviously, crime and different things are about proximity. We do those things to ourselves. But if we stop doing those things, then we'd be a lot better off. That's the premise of that.
Yeah, that's why I said at the beginning I could go both ways on that thing. You see what I'm saying? So, I don't knock it. I believe that we should stop the violence in the neighborhood because when there's violence against us, we screaming no justice, no peace. But the way I treat the youngsters, I teach them is if there's no peace, I can't get you no justice. You see, I want you to think about what I'm saying. If there's no peace in Minneapolis, they ain't gonna give y'all no justice. It ain't gonna happen. So yeah, it could go both ways. Yeah.
And so I know you guys got a long way to go down there or up there, wherever it is. My geographical thing is off. So in your opinion, how long do you think it's going to take before the DA and his wife and the neighbors get tired of y'all out there? Because you guys, the pressure is like, whew. If I was his wife, I'd be like, listen, what you gonna do is sign those damn papers so we can get some sleep around here. Because you guys,
well, it ain't gonna be the wife. It ain't gonna be the wife. It's gonna be the HOA, the homeowners association. They ain't finna keep putting up with that.
So how long do you think it's gonna take, in your opinion, for him to just say, you know what? Here you go.
I don't know what the time frame may be, but I think normalcy comes back when they arrest him. And what I want to do, because I can't see the comments, so I need y'all to do it for me. Let's engage this audience. What do they think about a lot of the stuff we talking about? Because it's easy to say, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And, like all of us all say, man, we don't know everything. I want to hear their opinions on it because they getting to watch this. Oh, the revolution is televised because I'm making sure it's televised. Want to put your boots on and come stand in the middle of it? Because it's different when you're standing in the middle of it.
No, absolutely. And Sean says, sorry about my comment on black cops. That really didn't come out right. It's hard to go into detail in a little box on the life. That's why I clarified who's going with that. That's why I made the clarification. So if you guys, for the next couple of minutes that we're on here, want to shoot some questions or concerns or anything you want the general to know while he's out there, please do so we can read them to him because he can't see the comments. But
I'll do them one better, man. Just give me some, shoot me a few comments of questions that you may want to ask one of these organizers, and I'll be glad to ask them personally your question. Because some of y'all got some insight out there that could help this situation.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I'd be glad. I'm talking to the organizers all day, every day. So I'd be glad to do that.
So what's the situation with the store owner?
I think he's a man. He the biggest sucker in the world. Y'all called them people and said that man had a counterfeit bill. Y'all initiated this whole thing. Most stores, and I don't know how they do it here, but in Houston, they'll let the guy leave so they don't have a confrontation. They'll put his picture up in the store. They'll take the counterfeit bill, put it right up under the picture, and they'll call law enforcement after he leaves. But see, from what I'm getting, Mike that owns the store has been treating African American customers like garbage for years.
What's new, right?
Exactly. He's been treating them like garbage for years. So Mike has shut his store down. He wasn't open today. The store across the street. I'm thinking it's a F5 hurricane for to come through here. Category 5 hurricane. The way they put them boards up on their store. They put some yellow tape up. You couldn't park on their lot. And the people tore that tape down, man. But they not tripping on the store across the street. But I think Mike gonna have problems.
And I was just about to ask you that. Like, why is it that Target and AutoZone and Chick-fil-A and Wendy's and all, why are they, up in flames and Mike's business is not?
Well, because Mike has spent the narrative on him. Mike, to me, Mike basically lied. That's just like they have more than enough footage of what happened. You got the cameras for Mike's store. You got the store directly across the street from them. You got footage from that store. The church on the corner sitting cat corner. You got footage from that store. You see what I'm saying? So I just feel like Mike lied, and now they're asking questions. They're asking the same questions you're asking. But Mike is nowhere to be found. ADT may not help Mike tonight.
You know what? I'm not inciting them, but I just have some questions. Like, Mike is still standing, but these big giant corporations, they've lost a store or two in the process.
Let me tell you this here, and hold on a second. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
I want to send this message to Mike. You're gonna have to shit or get off the pot tonight, homie. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm not going to jail in Minneapolis. But Mike, you gonna have to shit or get off the pot tonight. In my Bernie Mac voice, tonight. And if Shanae was in the building, oh my God, Mike, they finna holler at you, Mike. They finna holler at you, Mike. You finna have problems.
Well, Al wants to know, conversely, have you seen any black businesses? Are there a lot of black businesses out there?
Actually, I worked on another project in Houston when Groucho got killed, when HPD killed him. Good friend of mine, Eric Puckett, turned me on to a black restaurant that I'm gonna go eat at tomorrow. I need a regular home cooked meal, but all in all, I've not seen very many. I mean, mostly it's the same thing. Indians, Asians, same old.
Okay, and so I'm going to read, and Donovan, unless you want to jump in here, I'm going to read Macy. What's happening, Macy? She says, we have to upset white America's way of life. We have to make them feel our pain at every level. We need to take our fight to the doorstep of justice in Washington. We need them to correct the past as well as the present crimes of police. What do you guys think of that?
I totally agree with him. I can't even try to change anything she said. I agree with her.
Okay, Donovan?
Ditto.
I agree, but I also would say, what happens after we make them feel our pain? Are we going to finally unify, organize, and stop spending our money with Mike and them? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because
I think the unifying thing is going to be a problem because of the professional Negroes.
For sure.
I mean, poor people would love to get together and open up a business and do what they do. It's going to be them professional Negroes with their BS that's going to stop the progress. You see what I'm saying? Look, you don't feel these people pain because you don't live in this neighborhood. You feel what I'm saying? They don't feel like pain because they don't live in this neighborhood. So that's why they can't relate to anything that's going on. Another thing that these people want, they want police officers that are black, but they want them to live in the neighborhood. That's community policing. When the cop come from the same neighborhood he polices. Don't tell me it don't work, because it has worked in the past.
So, Donovan, you got a question? Oh, so tell us what a professional Negro is. And Donovan, I want your opinion too. What do we do about getting rid of the influence of the professional Negro on everybody else?
The professional Negro is the ones that Malcolm warned us about. These are the ones that no matter what the situation is, they're going to talk down on their own people. They're going to always have a problem with anything somebody's doing that has a different economic, social status than them. Because they feel like they live in the suburbs or they live in the nice house, they think they know every damn thing, and they actually undermine the work of grassroots people every single day. Because they're always into it for their own economic growth. And they seem to be connected to the pastors, and they're also connected to the politicians.
Exactly. Another word for that would be the exceptional Negro. I'm the only one on my job. I'm the first one to do this. I'm the first one to do that. But then they get up there, and if you look at their record, nothing's been done. A good example, and I hate to, keep calling him out. John Lewis. I marched with King. Okay, now you didn't sell out. You bought in. I'm all for buying in. Now you're a congressman, and we look at your record, and you haven't done one damn thing for the people in your district. But you signed on the DACA, you signed on to the DREAM Act, and all this other stuff. But your own people, the
Well,
exceptional Negro.
I think that today there were going to be some firsts for some of these exceptional Negroes that were here. You was gonna be the first one on this block to get your hat towed to the back. Cause they were finna peel your head to the fat meat. They had to get them up out of here. Yeah, they'd have been the first ones to get their heads split open on this block today.
And I will say this before I ask my next question. Yeah, the professional Negro, the exceptional Negro in YouTube definition, they definitely need to be silenced. We've heard enough from them. We don't want to hear you talk about turn the other cheek. Let's do this peacefully. No, we don't. We're done. Let us do it our way. You have enough money from the man and whoever's paying you to come in there and keep people quiet. You got enough money. Go away. We don't want to hear that. Let us do things our way as Malcolm X would have wanted us to do. And so the next question I have for you, Gary, is this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little confused on George's fiance/girlfriend. I was reading something this morning, and she was saying that she's willing to forgive the police officers who did the murdering, and George would have. And that, he was a God-fearing man and all this other stuff, and he would have forgiven the police officers and this and that. So first, I want you to talk about that, and who exactly is the girlfriend? Because I thought it was one person, and then I'm seeing another person. So can you clear that up at all?
Look, the girlfriend, I'm good with his best friend that was here with him. I actually go to a balloon release for the best friend who grew up on my block as a youngster. So I'll be at the balloon release Saturday. And I asked him about the fiance. He said, man, that woman wasn't nothing but a jump off. That was just somebody who would knock her down. So he was just knocking her down.
So she's doing all this speaking on behalf of him.
I mean, but think about it, man. That's crump, man. Y'all don't hear me? Didn't Both and Jean people say the same thing? That's Crump spinning the narrative. Man, we got to open and close say, look, we want to calm the community down. Look, let's do our part, and I know they're going to do their part.
So Sean wants to know, what would it take to satisfy the Black community's anger? Is there a point where that would happen, or are there people that just want to be angry?
Right now, this community is like a woman scorned. You don't get to tell them how long they can be mad. You ever been married and your spouse did something to you, and you just sit there and you mad for days, and they thinking, oh, well, I apologize, we should be good now. No, you don't get to tell me how long I can be mad. But to answer her question, they have an end result. Their short-term goal, they want them arrested. I'm telling you, if you arrest them, a lot of this will go away. If they were to arrest them today, I probably would be on a plane maybe tomorrow or the next day. That's how fast it would go away.
I answer this, Sean, for as long as there is injustice and wholesale murder of Black people here in America, which it goes on every single day, we gonna always be mad. Now, I'm a firm believer that's the same. It's okay to be angry, but with anger, you gotta take action. So you can't just be angry. You also have to do something with that anger. And now you are seeing something being done with that anger. So to answer your question, as long as the injustices and the inequality and all that stuff keeps going, we're gonna always be that way.
Absolutely. That's one way to look at it. You can give us our money cut the damn check. That's where I stand for it, because just like we said earlier in the show, it is no secret that all of these Black communities lack economic wealth. So if they came up with this and said, here's your $17 trillion, you guys go have a nice life, guess what? I wouldn't argue with that. I think that would help a lot, because it's just like what Benjamin Crump and all those guys did, ambulance chasing. You get me my check for my injuries and I will go away. But that's how I see it.
Right.
Well, I agree with both of y'all again, man. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, this can be over. It never had to start. You know, and the thing is, you got to understand, they got a set of folk that just lay around and be wanting shit to pop off. They got that Cedric Entertainer. I wish a mother would. I wish you wouldn't charge them. That give them more ammunition to go out and do what they doing.
Right. And Ramona, she says, what pressure have we put on them? Yet we keep voting these Negro spirituals back in office.
I don't think it's Negro spiritual Black men. I think it's Negro spiritual Democrats. Does this go on in a Republican neighborhood? I'm telling you, it's like, it's something I can't even explain. It's like just something in them that breeds dumb shit every day. If they ain't out here ballot harvesting, they won't do the right thing. And I said it today, and I'm gonna say it again. Where are the Black elected officials in Minnesota? I know I'm in Minneapolis. Where is the Black elected officials on the national level? Hate him if you want. God damn it, even Trump said something.
Right.
Where's the Congressional Black Caucus at, man? When are they gonna step to the plate and say something instead of sending they little house Negro, Al Sharpton, down here with his messed up shoes and his foolishness? Why will they not say nothing?
And Sean says, you know, I agree that there's a cause for them being up on charges, being them up on charges. But he says, I think the rioting overshadows the murder. Well, I would ask you this: during the Boston Tea Party, did the riot was the rioting overshadowing the murders?
Yeah. Well, no. Was the Boston Tea Party, was the rioting overshadowing the legislation? Right. There was no murders.
I mean, when it come to us, they'll magnify anything that deals with violence. But yet I can go to Netflix and I can watch gangster movies where you glorify white gangsters. Why you think each one of us sitting on this program tonight knows the history of Al Capone? Mm-hmm. Because you taught us this through television, you taught us this through books, because that's what you wanted us to know about America. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, but when it come to us and it's violent, then we were doing so good at one time. I used to always joke with my white friends offshore, and I would always tell them, all these serial killers is white. We were doing good till them two Negroes got in that trunk and was riding around DC. Now they can pin serial killing on us.
Oh, you talking about?
Yeah, you can't pin school shootings on us. I can tell you why they don't even have school shootings in the black schools. Because on any given day, it's 30, 40 guns on the campus. Them kids got guns on the campus. So if you dumb enough to come up in there with your AR-15, I'm about to shoot up the whole school. You finna get lit up. So, I mean, it's different times, different cultures, and people have to understand that that's just the way that they made it. And when it come to us, whatever it may be, it's going to be the worst of the worst. But when it comes to them, they find a way to justify it.
You know, the crazy part is, because I see a couple of people kind of saying, wearing your mask, you're not wearing your mask. And it just really dawned on me that with all of this going on, there actually is a COVID-19 still going on.
But right now, we got COVID, But which one of them killing black men more, COVID or the cops?
Right. Exactly. So it's like, is there a mask for being murdered by the police?
Man, you might as well walk around. You might as well do the little Boosie. Walk around here with no mask on. End up in the hospital. You might live longer. Cause just trying to put gas in your car nowadays with these cops, you end up dead.
So Al wants to know. Go ahead.
Yeah, and real quick, again, I have yet to hear from the Hispanic caucus, the Asian caucus. Where are our allies in all of this? Have you seen any Hispanics or Asians, 5-star, speaking on our behalf?
I want to say that before when he comes back on, the lady. Go ahead.
None. Well, no. Let me take that back. Yes, I have. You've had Latinos speaking, and I ain't never seen this in Houston. They front lining right now. But I want to address a comment from Busy B. Hudson. She say we need AR-15s too. Let me make y'all understand something, man. Them youngsters got some heat that could cut a car in half. Stop thinking they don't have no artillery. They remember, in order for them to push the dope trade through our neighborhoods, they had to make sure that the drug dealers were armed. So that's the reason they started dropping the guns off on one block and the dope on the other block. They got plenty guns. Don't think these youngsters ain't strapped, man. They got stuff that the police ain't got. Remember, LA was one of the first police departments that went to fully automatic. Because the youngsters in LA were fully automatic. They had the body armor, the bullets that could pierce the body armor. Man, them youngsters got so much artillery, it's unreal, man.
Right, and I want to say this. Ramona says she says we have no allies. Seriously. So when Donovan is talking about we have no allies, no friends, not talking about the one or two people we know, because one of my good friends who is Hispanic, she called me and she says, you know what, I'm with you because I know it's going to be us next. But overall, we don't. Malcolm told us about that. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about it. Elijah Muhammad has talked about us not really having any allies. Marcus Garvey. So we know that, because if we had allies, look at in our communities, all of these stores and these businesses that other races have. Look at all the destruction that goes on in our neighborhood and the dilapidation that goes on in our neighborhood, and they don't even put any money back into those communities. They continue to take and rob. They see the wholesale murder of black people, and they drive right by to their nice houses in the suburb. So we really don't. And in the 1950s, the president of LULAC, he said, I'm not interested, and that's a Latino organization, because I'm not interested in helping the Negro. Let the Negro fight his own battles. I'm not interested in forming an alliance with them. So that's pretty telling, I would think.
I saw a comment about somebody didn't care because they got another 1,200 coming. You live supposedly in one of the richest countries in the world, but you got other countries that make education, after high school, going to college, your education is free. Mm-hmm. Your health care is free. And y'all capping by $1,200? $1,200, huh? Man, they gave you that 12 because that wasn't nothing to give you. It wasn't nothing to give you. And they gave you the 12 knowing full well if they starve you long enough, as soon as you get the 12, you got to spend it with them anyway.
Right.
So they got it right back.
Right. So anyway, Gary, I know you're tired.
Man, I'm good.
Good?
I'm good.
Keep going if you want to keep going. It's on you.
Man, I'm good. I'm here with y'all. But I will tell y'all I want to get back, take some pictures for y'all, interview some more people. Because tonight I just think it's gonna be live at 5 on this block.
All right. Well,
because I don't know. Back in the day, who was one of your favorite old school rap groups?
Back in the day, UTFO for me.
UTFO, yeah, Mixed Master Ice and them boys. Who's your favorite, Donald?
Houdini, UTFO.
Yeah, because you need to be listening to Houdini. Because I can guarantee you, when the sun go down today, the freaks gonna come out tonight. I guarantee you, I'm here. I know what's going on. The freaks finna come out tonight, man.
I was gonna say something, but I'm not. When you was on, I think when you were on live last night, I heard somebody at Mike Freeman's house, the DA, talk about your mom's a hoe.
Say, man, the freaks gonna come out tonight. Watch what I tell you, and they ain't gonna be looking for no milk and cookies.
Real quick, Al Jackson says, "Is this the worst black killing of all time?"
No, I don't think it is. I mean, you know, I look at them and I look at how they do them. This is up there in the top 3, no questions. The Alton Sterling killing was very disturbing to me in Baton Rouge. That was very, very disturbing to me. I can't hear you.
I was talking to myself.
Yeah, the Alton Sterling killing was very, very disturbing to me. But I mean, this one here, I mean, the way that it was done, Al might be on to something, because this was done in broad daylight. They didn't give a damn, and they just did it. But I'm gonna tell you now, if these police come out here mess with these folk tonight, try that tonight. Gonna be a problem.
I would just say this: any black man or woman or child, because I see people say Emmett Till, Bird. That was
Emmett Till was the worst one of all of them.
I think they're all worse. I think they're all worse, and throughout the history of black men being in America, I think they're all bad. They're all bad. The manner of them might have been, differently, obviously. But anytime you take a black life, I think they're all equal. As far as it being.
I think that at the end of the day, hold on. Mm-hmm. Anytime we can lose a brother, the way that we lost his brother, any way that they did it was unjust. And we should live by the Bible. The wages of sin is death.
An eye for an eye.
It's an eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's an eye for an eye. And I think the wages of sin in this matter should be death, but they don't have a death penalty here. And I think that's why they trying to figure out. And another thing I found out, I'm trying to get the information because I want to verify it, that him putting his knee on that man's neck is actually a procedure that they could do. I need to verify that.
I heard it was illegal.
Yeah. Well, the DA, that might be the reason he ain't charged him yet.
The reason listen, this is, y'all, I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all know damn well that man ain't charged him yet because he's a big time racist. Don't let the D in front of his name being a Democrat fool you. That man is a racist. Like I said, anybody and their mama could see that was flat out murder. That man stood on the back, kneeled on the back of his neck, and probably had a hard on while he was doing it. He fully enjoyed knowing and hearing that. I haven't watched the video before. What I heard, it was pretty horrific.
Well, I know you don't want to watch it, but I think it's time that you watch it.
I can't do it. I ain't built like that.
Get you a shot of Crown. You'll be all right.
I can't do it. Just reading about it is enough for me.
Yep.
I can't do it.
Right. Our compadre Damian Jones, and don't forget to tune out to the Damian Jones podcast. He says the county attorney says he didn't see anything criminal in the video.
Well, when you the county attorney and you got them nuts in your mouth, you probably wouldn't see it anyway. I don't see them doing anything criminal, going into the stores and getting what they want. You owe us that. You never gave us our 40 acres and a mule. So they went and got them a big screen and some gummy bears.
Mm.
Right. So, well, in closing, fellas, what say you?
Well, for me, I'm gonna be out here. I'm gonna be reporting live for y'all because what you are getting, the news channels are not reporting. So it's very important. All these people out here doing these streams, I applaud them because people all around the country are being able to see what exactly is really going on with the front line stuff. So, you know, I'm gonna keep doing that. We were able to stretch the trip out a little longer. I got some homeboys go grab a Suburban tomorrow. They coming up here from Houston. They like, man, we not finna leave you down there by yourself. We come and rock and roll with you. Well, come on, baby, let's go. You know, it is what it is. Before you know it, you're going to think it's McGregor Park on a Sunday because we're going to have the pit out here, and I'm going to have me some old school Millers because they're not saying anything about open containers right now. And, you know, I'm the activist that like to smoke his cigarettes. I use cuss words, and I drinks every now and then.
Well, we
That's
need
it.
we need you to stay laser focused and on your toes. So,
Man, the Millers going to have me laser focused. They going to have me straight.
Donovan.
All right. Hey, it's been a great conversation, 5-star. Please be safe out there, you know, and get the scoop. We'll be sharing your clips and your videos. But I just want to end up with this last one, Gilbert Johnson, because I've been, you know, I always work the comments. He says, Donovan Siddiq, voting our interest is a no vote. And that's a very powerful thing to do. If we would start holding the vote, maybe they will start giving us something for it.
Absolutely. And Donovan, can you put the General's Cash app again?
I can't hear y'all.
You can't hear us? Uh-oh.
I can't hear you. Hold on. Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead. I'm going to listen this way.
All right, so I will say this, you guys. Donovan, please put in his Cash app into the box here. You guys, he is out there, and he is out there by the graciousness of your donations. So if you guys want the content, you want it firsthand, please continue to donate so that he can stay out there longer. And I will say this, we love and appreciate you for doing what you are doing because we know you are showing us things that we don't see on the news. And so keep up the fight, keep your head on swivel. And you guys, we will be back here same time tomorrow with more updates. And please follow Gary Wayne Monroe so that you can get the latest information because he is out there actually in the trenches.
Say,
that was shadow
man.
over there.
I'm finna get back at it. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow.
All right. See y'all later.
Hey, I'm trying to do it without a shadow of a doubt. You got to do it.